Our God and our King, we thank you so much. Thank you for the insights you are given to us. Thank you for the revelation. We bless your holy name. In Jesus' name we are worshipped. Please, let's be seated for a few minutes. This time we are going to close early because reflection. This period was a period that we should have a ministry of evangelist Proudfoot. And I discovered that yesterday, though I thought we should just do exercise and relax at this time, but I found out that many of you did exercise in the morning. And I discovered that it's because I'm not used to doing exercises, that's why I didn't know when to do it. So I have learned from you that early in the morning you exercise your body. And also I felt very much that we have many things to cover. We have been speaking very much about the spiritual, which is quite very, very good. Though we haven't completed it, because I still want to talk to you about the things that you can do to operate in the power. And I think I will speak about that later on today. Because we all have a consensus about the promises. But we always have an understanding that if you look at your life 10 years ago, 15 years ago, though you are in the Lord, those of you who have been, the level of authority you commanded at that time is different from what you command now. So what has happened? If you look at what has happened when a man increases in authority, the first thing is that your knowledge of the Word of God has increased a lot. And the knowledge of the Word of God is synonymous to the height of authority. I think let me just speak to you about that then. I will zero into the things that you need to do to be able to run an effective church. You will discover that when God called Moses was commanded by God to anoint Aaron and his children as priests, but not Joshua. Not Joshua. But when Moses was about to leave, why did God not choose Aaron to carry on? He was the priest. He was the next in command to Moses. You will expect that in hierarchy in church, when the main leader dies, the person that should step into the shoes are his immediate first-class lieutenants. But it's interesting. It didn't work so. The major difference between Aaron and Joshua is this. If you look at the book of Numbers 12, you can read that at your leisure. Aaron strived with Moses and Miriam. Miriam, being the sister who presided over Moses while he was put in the basket. The significant work of Miriam is in Exodus chapter 15, after they crossed the Red Sea. She was the prophet who sang. And through her singing, you and I came about the promise of healing, which was a forecast about Christ. But yet, when Moses was going to go, God did not choose any one of them. But he chose a young boy. This is the problem. This is the major distinction. If you look at the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34, verse 9, it says, now Joshua, son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom because Moses had laid his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to him and did what the Lord had commanded. Why would Moses lay hands on Joshua? If you look at chapter 1 of Joshua 1, it says, verse 1, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, the aide of Moses, What happened to Joshua was that Joshua was serving Moses. Whenever Moses went to the mountain, Joshua was there. Whenever Moses does not eat, Joshua doesn't. When others are in the camp and Moses went to seek God, Joshua was with Moses. To the place whereby when God appeared to Moses face to face, the first person that saw the true manifestation was Joshua. Joshua's duty was to serve. He never had ambition to be a leader. He has the humility of Moses, which distinct Moses in his calling. Really, he was so zealous and protective of Moses to the extent that he was ready to die for Moses. If you look at his role right through, he was the one, no wonder, that led every battle against Israel. He led those battles because his zeal is to protect the head. And little did he know that the unction of the head was rubbing upon him during the period. But if you look at Joshua himself, after God used Joshua mightily, as doctor said, there was no successor for Joshua. We did not read about anybody who was Joshua's aide. And because there was no aid for him, the tenure ended in his turn. Now, therefore, as we learn from Joshua, to carry the unction is to follow the predecessors who have gone ahead and to follow the path that they followed strictly. And if that is done, unction will work. It was in the book of Joshua God laid the benchmark, chapter 1, verse 8, when it says, the book of the law must not depart from